I'm going to say, I'm Haley. Daddy's going to say, I'm Bobby. And you're going to say,
I'm Ferguson.
no, I'm Eli. I'm Haley.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Eli.
I attended church on and off with my mom. My mom was
And I teach with my mom and dad and Jesus and my Mimi and Papa.
You do? Do you want to go take your dinosaurs in your room and play? When I was a child, we went to church often, to a Baptist church here in Rome, and my mom was a single mom who worked 2 and 3 jobs, so we didn't go to church on a regular basis, not an every Sunday, Wednesday kind of thing. And as a teenager, I was in youth groups and went on mission trips, and it was always something that was on my mind and something that I was interested in, but I never fully committed my life to Jesus. And then in college, when I was 19, my mom passed away, and I had my 14-year-old brother that I started to raise. We didn't have any family in town, and so in college I really got away from away from going to church. I didn't attend church. I began to have a lot of doubts. It was something I struggled with. And then when I became a teacher, I saw so many kids that were neglected and abused and born into families with very little love and care, to mothers who were addicted to drugs, and it just further emphasized the doubts and the negative thoughts that I had. But then in my second year teaching, the teacher beside me moved away, and there was an open spot, and the person who moved into that classroom was Anna DeHurdy, and she really, we became really good friends right away, and had a great connection. And she was is one of the strongest Christians I've ever met. And it was she continuously invited me to church and wouldn't take no for an answer. And after a couple of years, we agreed to go to church at Oak Hill. And there, it just sparked an interest again. And we met Joey. And Joey began coming to our house to do Bible study. And Bobby and I began reading the Bible together and had a lot of discussions with Joey about the doubts and the things that I had gone through in college and after college, and all of the concerns that I had that kind of pushed me away from Christianity. And each week he just kept coming back, and we kept studying together and talking together through those things. And then a couple months later, I guess 3 or 4 months into that, we decided that we really wanted to be baptized and give our lives to Jesus.
I basically had the same process where as a kid, all the way up to college, it was kind of an on and off thing, going to church, youth groups, mission trips, you know. It was not an everyday process for me. I might go to church once a year some years, and then there might be some years where I go 7 to 8 times. I mean, it was just a different process for me. And then it kind of ties back into Haley's story, where Anna came into her life, invited us to church, and it just took off from there. With the Bible studies with Joey, and then a few months later we made the decision and became saved.
For me, it was just the inspiration of people who also didn't have all of the answers. I was always one of those people that felt like I needed to have all of the answers before I could commit to something. I'm a little bit of a know-it-all, I guess. And I just met people like Anna and Joey that were strong Christians and also didn't have all of the answers, but still had a really inspiring faith. And just their faith and the faith of others that I met as I was going through that process inspired me to also just be at peace with not being in control and not knowing everything, and deciding to give my life to Jesus anyway.
For me, the biggest doubt for me is making that step for something that I couldn't grasp. You know, you don't see God. There's not really he doesn't show his presence. So one of the biggest questions that I asked Joey the whole time throughout the process is, why doesn't he show himself? I mean, you hear about him coming down in the form of many different things, but this doesn't happen anymore. So one of my biggest doubts was that, but then just going to church with Joey and going through that process, I learned to understand that that's just one of the things you have to accept. And I saw the faith from all the other people, and it just kind of convinced me that, you know, maybe there's more to it than what I can see. Okay, let's do this. It's embarrassing.
It's mostly just a peace, like a peace of mind, and someone to give my troubles and my worries and my doubts over to. Before becoming a Christian, I never really made poor choices. I wasn't a person I wasn't the teenager that was wild and crazy, and all through college I raised a 14-year-old boy, so I always was really responsible and made those right choices. So it wasn't necessarily actions that changed for me, but more of just my mind and my heart. And I try really hard to love people more and show more grace and forgiveness. It's definitely something I still work on every day though.
I never was a crazy person that did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. So it was more of a mindset change for me also. And just the way I deal or interact with people. Giving grace, forgiveness, talking to them about God, trying to bring them to God. So it's more just the way I interact with people than anything else.
We have different priorities now. Before, our priorities were largely about ourselves, I guess.
Money, jobs,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Career, and you know, just working, I guess, for the things of the world. And so it's really more about where we place our priorities and how we raise our child.
So God first, family, just trickles down from there. So it just rearranged life for us, basically.
My favorite thing is that the people of the church are real. They don't put on a fake persona, so the relationships that we get to build are real relationships that help us grow, because everyone is just there trying to be their best selves, and it's not a judgmental atmosphere where you feel like you have to be fake or be perfect. So I think that my favorite thing about the church is just being able to have those relationships with people in a real sense.
Yeah, for me, it's about the people, or the people that go to the church. This is one of the only churches that I've been to that I actually hang out with the people outside of church. And I think that's key. When you surround yourself with better people, you want to be a better person. So I think that it's really made a difference with just my relationships with people. And that's my favorite thing. We're the Fergusons,
and we are the church at Rome.
Okay. I'm glad you did that.
You worked really hard on that, Eli.